today, January 12th, 2025, coming at you for the live stream for the next hour, talking about some shows and movies, whatever else is going on with you. Hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well. And so we're 12 days into the new year. And I have to say, it's kind of crazy already. You know, I've had some stuff at work, stuff at home, stuff with life, you know. But hopefully you're safe and sound, doing well. Going to be doing big things this year. Watching different shows, movies, anything on there too. Hopefully the Walking Dead universe will come back strong this year. If not, because I feel like it's on the way out. And it's been on the way out. Or it's actually gone. You know, I don't know how many people are actually watching the Daryl Dixon show or Dead City. And that's it. That's all we got, right? So what other shows and movies are you watching? Clearly I'm watching Silo. That's in the thumbnail. It's pretty good. I'm a fan of Silo. It's on season 2. We watched episode 9 yesterday. And it's good. It draws you in. You still want to know what's going on. They keep adding stuff over and over and over again. I have no idea, TWD Soul, how long till Dead City drops. We don't know. We don't know when it actually is going to be on television, but I would hope that they'll finalize it pretty soon. Since they only have 2 shows, when they're going to have it. They're going to draw it out till March, April, May. You know, but typically it's a February, October, but I guess those days are gone too. So thank you guys for taking the time to be here. Lindsay, TWD Soul, Tim, and everyone else that's joining as we speak. So we're watching Silo. I'm watching Prime. Well, we just finished Prime Season 3. It's about Deion Sanders in Colorado and their season, how it was with all the stuff that happened there, and Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. TWD Soul asks, do you think Dead City ends season 2 or goes season 3? I don't know. I don't know what the finalization ending is going to be with Dead City, because I think that Lauren Cohan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Maggie and Negan, can continue on with that show, and if they're executive producers, if they're watching, or if they're involved with the production, whether it's directing, producing, this, that, clearly starring in it. But I doubt you want to give that up. You know, if you have a credit of some sort of aspect of a show, why would you want to get rid of that and continue to make money? So they probably, I would assume it's going to go a 3rd season, but that's just a guess right now. Lindsay says, I've been rewatching Squid Game season 1 to watch season 2. So season 2, I watched it. I talked about it last live stream, Lindsay. Season 2 of the Squid Games, it's pretty good. It carries on from season 1. You don't really need to watch. I mean, you can, but you don't really need to watch season 1 to go into season 2. It carries over, and you'll remember what happened with the main character and everything. So it's kind of interesting, but it's good. It carries forward, setting up a season 3 for sure, and I believe it's going to be the 3rd and final season of Squid Game. And you just wrap it up. You know, I think 3 seasons of that show is way more than we ever thought we would get. Night Agent is coming back on, I want to say the 23rd. I could be wrong, on Netflix. And I'm going to definitely watch that. And so, we're ready for a lot of different shows and movies. And, of course, football. My Texas Longhorns lost to Ohio State. So it's Ohio State versus Notre Dame in the national championship game. And Tim asks, Q&A, Bri, are you caught up on last episode this morning of Landman? No, we still have to watch episodes 9 and 10, I believe. I think 10, if he said the next one's up. So that's episode 10. That's got to be the final episode of the season, I'm guessing. So I was going to wait to watch that. I'll probably watch it this week and be able to talk about it next stream. But I definitely want to see where that's going. I think Landman, besides the name, the name Landman is pretty bad. But Landman overall is one of Taylor Sheridan's better new shows, and some would say even best show too. So yeah, it's the final episode. So yeah, season 1, I'm sure they're gonna have a season 2 because Paramount needs shows, And it looks like between Taylor Sheridan's shows and Sylvester Stallone's stuff, Paramount is pretty good right there. I know they have some of the football games today. And hopefully you're safe and sound, and staying warm is the other thing. That's the big thing here in Florida, where I live in Tampa Bay. It's been pretty chilly. It's been cold for like several days in a row, and then it warmed up a little bit, and then it was cold again today, going to slightly warm up again, and then cold again. So it's like hot and cold a little bit. But, you know, it's good to have the cool down, but I don't like it super cold. And, you know, I want to get out and do some work in the yard, and while I can. But overall, other than that, I'm like cleaning out cabinets, drawers. This year, 2025, is all about clearing out the house, clearing out the garage, clearing out the laundry room, the man cave. All the stuff, when in doubt, throw it out. I'm going to try to sell some things, get rid of it, and just, you know, downsize, minimize, be a minimalist in some aspects. I mean, not nearly as much as some people are, but, you know, just condense things down. So it's definitely a lot of stuff going around with that. And yeah, I had some crazy stuff at work, but also not going to be a Debbie Downer, or try to be a Debbie Downer. But my stepmom passed away on Friday. So 2 days ago, late Friday night, and she wasn't doing well. She was sick, and she actually had cancer. And so back home in New Jersey, and I was talking with my dad if he needed any help from me. And so it's been kind of tough, but it just goes to show that you have to live for today and just do the things you can do. So I talked about it before. Like, I want my dad to look back at life and realize that he was able to do things that he wanted to do. And I've asked him, you know, what does he want to do? What do you want to do before you die? And, you know, my stepmom was always not like an anchor or a hindrance, but something that he always had to worry about, because he would leave and come here, and there would always be problems back home with the thermostat or the this or her tire, or there was always some sort of problem. And now that's, you know, not there. After the grieving process and everything on there too, you know, hopefully he can do things now, and he's 75, so I don't know how much is capable to do, but I've seen people that are in their 80s do very well and be able to do things. And I know too, like, because I asked him before, what are the two things that he want, or what does he want to do? And he said two things: Niagara Falls and Dollywood. And Niagara Falls is closer to him, so I was like, let's start there. But he always couldn't commit because of my stepmom and her condition and how she wasn't doing and everything on there too. And so if he's up for it, I'm not going to try to make him do anything, but if he's up for it, have to try and make some memories and some things that he wants to do, because I would like to have memories and experiences with my father while he's still capable and able to do things. So, you know, I'm going to talk with him probably later and see how he's doing. And it's just tough, you know. And it's just sad, but it happens and was part of life. And, you know, it was been some time. And so just always transparent here on the channel. And that's just what's going on here. And, you know, it's 12 days into this year. And it's been kind of crazy with the house and the weather and the stuff and, you know, stuff at work. And, you know, luckily I have a student from the University of Buffalo, and he's really nice, and he's just a second year instead of a third year. So he has a little ways to go with his education before he graduates and, you know, takes the license exam. But I'm learning a lot about Buffalo, New York, that's for sure. And, you know, when you think Buffalo, you think probably a couple things. If you're a sports fan, you think of the Buffalo Bills. Because if you know Buffalo at all, you know cold, snow, winter, just, you know, freezing cold winter weather. And he was telling me all about it and everything. And it was kind of cool. Like, I always love to hear about other states and cities and countries and everything too, because it's interesting that and so Niagara Falls is pretty close to the University of Buffalo, and Buffalo, the city. And so I was like, oh man, if I go there and if my student's still there, then I can maybe meet up with him and he could tell us where to go and do that. So it would be really cool. So, live and learn, and everything happens for a reason. And so maybe we didn't go to Niagara Falls yet because I didn't meet my student. And if all goes well, then we can stay in touch and he can tell us where to go or anything like that. It'd be pretty cool, And so it was just kind of a cool thing, possible to see some different stuff and maybe have a tour guide around if that's possible. But we'll see down the road. And so I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And if people come in your life and go in your life for different reasons. And, I've known my stepmom before she was my stepmom. She was, with my dad, and they were dating and everything on there too. And my parents were divorced since I was 2. So, I got a stepdad from my mom, and then a stepmom from my dad, and a stepbrother and sister and everything on there too. And so it expanded the family, expanded life, expanded everything there too. And, you live and learn from different experiences, but also from people that you meet. And I've learned a lot of things of what to do, but also what not to do that I see in life and how people are, good, bad, and different. And so that's okay. We're not all the same, and we all have different views in life, and that's great. And that's a thing where we have to be a little more open to that, I feel, too. Like, it's crazy to see how people are still so divided, right? And I don't know if that's ever going to change, especially coming up in a couple weeks when the new president takes office. But I just hope the United States gets better. I hope the world gets better. I hope the economy gets better. I hope the weather gets better. But I hope everything we're making strides to go in the right direction. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I can just hope, that it does and just try to be the best we can. But I also feel like I want to be able to do things with my father and my family and everything. So I'm going to try to make more of an effort and try to plan stuff out. And if I have time off, good. If I don't, then I'm going to take it anyway. Because, like I said, my dad's 75 years old and not everything is given at all. A couple months ago, my wife's friend that was in our wedding, she went to college with, passed away too. So it's like, stuff happens, man. We're not given tomorrow. It's not a definite that we're going to have tomorrow to do it, or 6 months or a year or 10 years or whatever. So plan, save, invest, and just live. And so I've been writing a little bit more of my book series. I'm on chapter 9 of the next series, and I'm excited about it again. I've always been excited about it, but I just have to put a little more time in. So I'm trying to make the time, because there's a lot of different things pulling you in different directions. I wake up early, I go to work, I work there for 8 hours, drive home, go to the gym some days, and other days try to do stuff around the house and whatever. So you gotta do it while you still can. And I just feel a big sense of that. I'm not gonna it's crazy, right? I had a patient the other day, and she was telling me she's going to go to the inauguration. She's going to go to Washington, D.C., and she's really excited about it, and it's a good thing for her, and it should be great. But she's leaving in like a week. And so she's like, I only have 1 week. And I'm like, wait a second. No. Let's rephrase that. You have 7 days. So it sounds better when you say I have 7 days versus 1 week. So it's 1 versus 7. It's the same thing, but it just sounds a little bit better. And so she was already starting to worry about it. And semantics, but it's also how you perceive things. If I have a lot of time and if I try to do things with it, you might not be so stressed out, and also you don't try to get it done because you feel like you have too much time. And then you have to wait to the end and procrastinate, and you go there too and you finish it and you move on. But if you do a little bit each day, you can get a lot of stuff done, but you have enough time to do it as long as you act like today, tomorrow, the next day. By this day, I got to get this done. I got to find this, something to wear, something to travel, whatever it is, And so, it's all a matter of perspective. And perspective is perception is reality. So perception is going to make you how you see things, good, bad, some good, some bad there too. But, it is what it is, and try to stay positive. I've always had there too, but I'm also a realist. I'm not going to think everything's great when it's not. And that's why entertainment and shows are exciting to see where it's going. And, we're watching, I'm watching a little more episodes of What If, and I really enjoy that. They do a great job with it. And I think that would be a good way to do if Walking Dead ever went that way. I think the What If Walking Dead would be a cool scenario. Like, I never played the video game, the most recent video game, that had that what if you let Shane live, or what if you do this, or what if you do there. And I heard it was terrible. Like, it's not the same voices, it's not the same this, and it's just like they're trying, but they're putting minimal effort in, or lackluster effort, I guess it feels like. I don't know if they are, but I just feel like don't even do it then. If you're going to make it terrible, it's not even worth making. But, time, money, budget, everything gets cut, and same thing too, So that's kind of just the thing that watching, what am I watching now? So I'm watching Hard Knocks, obviously, with the Steelers. So the Ravens won last night, so they'll continue on with the show with the Ravens playing the Steelers, but also the Ravens continuing on with that, which is always pretty cool. Squid Game, we finished that. We're finishing up No Good Deeds, I think, or I think it's just No Good Deed. And it's a Ray Romano and Phoebe from Friends. And it's a different kind of show. It's about them selling the house that they don't want to, and stuff happens. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's interesting enough. It's something different on Netflix. And then, of course, we have Night Agent coming back pretty soon. And then Reacher, 1923. And then in February is Captain America, whatever it's called, with the Red Hulk and Anthony Mackie as Falcon / Captain America. Like, to me, he'll always be Falcon, but I guess he becomes Captain America, so he's the new Captain America now. So watch that, of course. Other than that, just going through, watching different sports. There's a lot of sports on right now, which is always good. Pretty soon, and before you know it, it'll be Super Bowl. And, I'll probably be watching the Super Bowl at my house and relaxing. And then my wife's birthday's in February. And, of course, we'll celebrate a little bit for Valentine's Day. But Valentine's Day is always one of those overrated holidays in my book. Like, it's about a month away. And you probably have to book a reservation now for it. And I'll get my wife flowers and candy and whatever on there, too. And we'll probably have a nice dinner and everything like we should. But it's always like, come on. It's just too much because our anniversary and birthdays, and we just had the holidays, and it's just added on to them, some things. And it's always nice to celebrate time and time again, and to make the person feel loved and appreciated. And so, I just like anybody else, I got to do a better job with that from time to time. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be an actual gift. It can just be an acknowledgement or something like that too. Like, it's always like somebody feels like they have to buy somebody something to show them that they love. And there's different love languages, but that's not always the case. The case is just be there for the person to make their life easier. That's what I believe in, right? Like, when I buy my wife a gift, it might be something that she wants, that she didn't buy herself. Or it's something that I know she is going to buy anyway, that I'll just buy it for her ahead of time, and so she doesn't have to worry about it. So she can spend her own money on whatever she wants. There's an outlet mall that's like an hour away where I live. And it's nice because they have all the stores like Under Armour and Reebok and Nike and Adidas and all that stuff. And I'll just go there and just let her buy whatever or let her pick out whatever she wants, and I'll buy it. Especially with sizes and certain things, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just let her do her thing with whatever she wants to get, and it's just there too, and I just pick it out. And I think that's a great way of doing it because, yes, it's a nice way to get a gift for somebody, But it's also saying like, look, get whatever you want. I'll take care of it. And so she can pick it up there too. And then maybe I can get something too as well. You know, it's a good outlet stuff when stuff's marked down too. So that's true. Tim says instead of buying, he prefers to make/build a gift craft. So that's good too. And so that doesn't mean that buying a gift is stupid and building something is better. But if you have the skills and the ability to do that, that is awesome. And I would love to build something. You know, I've always thought about doing one of those like painting classes where like you or whoever else you go with, painting with a twist or whatever that stuff is. And if you got like a good thing to paint, like a sunset or something there too, it's a pretty cool thing to have. And then she could paint one and we paint the same thing and we see whose is better and whose is good on there too. And then we can kind of have that as a keepsake, and it would be a nice memory too, you know, because yes, gifts are great and things are good and material things are great. But when you get older, I find that experiences are more. Going on a trip, going on something like that too. And so it stinks for my wife because we can't do anything between January and April because of tax season, and she works for a tax company. And so the world kind of shuts down unless you call out sick or you have some doctor's appointment or something. Of course, you can go to that. But they don't want you to take too many days off, if any, between January and April. So you really got to use all your time between May and the end of the year. But also, like, September and October is another deadline. So it's just kind of crazy, you know? And so you kind of have to, you know, finagle your schedule and work out. So, like, I would love to, once kind of everything settles down and everything there, to go on a cruise every May and December. But that's just an idea. Maybe we go to Niagara Falls in May or April or whatever. But probably have to be May because, again, my wife's schedule is tough there too. So probably May would be a little bit better. But we'll have to see. I got to talk with my dad and see how it goes down for that too. So, yeah, I mean, and I've always like thought about love languages as a thing now because that came out a couple years ago. I don't even know when it actually came out to the masses. It's one of those things that's probably been out for a while or at some point, and then somebody picks it up or maybe even developed it. I don't even know where it actually started, but it's true because everyone's so different. Physical touch, acts of service, gift giving, or whatever they actually are. I don't even know all of them. And that's the true thing, because some people aren't good with their words. Doesn't mean they don't care about the person. It's just they don't have to say it. But what if someone needs that? They need that affirmation. They need that kind words. They need those things. And so we have to kind of sometimes go out of our comfort zones. So other than that, guys, hopefully you have something to look forward to later this year, whether it's a vacation or a trip or something. You know, like I always one of those persons, like, you got to have something to look forward to. What's the reason to wake up? What's the journey? Where is the journey taking you? Is it taking you on? So like every day can't be this journey. Well, I guess it could be, right? It's a perspective, like from my job. Like when I wake up Monday morning, I have to wake up early, have my lunch together, change, get in my car, drive to work, have my patients for the day, whether they're new patients, old patients, tricky patients, discharges, whatever they are. And then, well, now I have a student, so then we have to work. I work with the student now, and we're trying to do a lot of stuff like that, and then come home, see how my wife's doing, whatever we have to hear, what are we having for dinner, what are we going to do here, what are we going to do this, and then you just take it one day at a time. And that's the journey for the day, to rinse and repeat, to make money, to pay your bills or pay your mortgage or pay your stuff off or invest or travel or whatever, buy things with. And then it's like, where is this taking me? So now, and when you reach a certain age, it's all different for everybody. I'm in my 40s now, that I'm trying to save for the future and put away for the future so I can retire earlier or retire early. So I do like the FIRE principle of financially independent, retire early. That's what I'm trying to put into my mindset, because I like that idea of, I don't want to work forever, especially full time forever, but you can't just stop working unless you hit the lottery or you get some big, large sum of money. But I'll probably work part time, and then I can write more. I can make more videos. I can, just be able to have time for that too, because you just don't have enough time. That's what everybody says when you get older. It's like, time. Where'd the time go? Before you know it, you're 70 years old. What? Where did the past 70 years go? And then when you get older, probably going to be like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And you're like, you wake up, you go to work out, you go here, you go there too, and you're like, I got to be able to, before I know it, it's 5 o'clock. Oh my goodness, and the day's gone. And then years are gone too, so. Hard Nixie says, if you retire early, you will probably end up missing work and going back to working. I don't know about that. Like, I'm one of those people that if you gave me enough money for me to retire, to pay my bills, have my money for my taxes and my, all the stuff that I have to pay, I'd retire. Because I can devote my time to something else. I can always find something to do. And see, that's what everybody says, Hard Nixie. As you get older, time goes faster. It doesn't. Time goes the same amount of time as every time. It's the same amount of pace every time. Time does not change. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seconds are going by as we hear. I've been doing this stream for 26 minutes and 42 seconds. And it's counting every there. Boom, boom, boom. It takes us longer to do things. It takes us longer to do the same things that we used to be able to do there too. So it's not going any faster. It takes us longer to do things. To get out of bed, to go to the bathroom, to make breakfast, to clean, to do whatever. That's usually what it is. Which stuff starts slowing down. Our mind, our body, our bodily processes. That's what it is. And that's okay. But if we think about it as it's going to take me a little bit longer, like that's a thing where you have to accommodate for that. You have to accommodate for everything that's there. And so you have to think about it as, how long is it going to take me to do this, to do that, to hit here? And you have to be a realist about it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly. So Jeannie says, if I'd retire from employment, I would get lots of projects. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't just stop. Like retirement doesn't mean like death and I don't do anything. It's just I don't have to go to work to make money. It's like I would still go do things. Like I would probably be more involved with YouTube. I would be probably more involved with things there too. I would definitely work out. I'd be going food shopping like once a week, the same thing with Publix and Sam's Club and whatever. I'd still do the same exact things there. I'd be home more with my wife. I would probably see my dad more, my mom more. I would travel more with my family. And it's like I have to put a little more time for that because, like I told you, my dad's 75 years old and I don't know how much longer he has. 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Who knows? And so I don't want to look back at it and say, I wish I didn't try. And I wouldn't feel that, and I don't feel that way, but I want to feel like, okay, so now he's alone. And I don't want him to feel alone. I don't want that to happen. And it's just sad, to feel that way. And that's what they say about like when you get older. It's just like you could be forgotten. And I don't want anybody that I care about to feel that way. And so I call them. I mean, I definitely call him every day. Not every day, but probably 5 days a week I call my dad. And so I have to continue that, right? Like, I mean, that's not going to change. And make sure I check up on him more and make sure he's okay because he's capable. He's not like he can drive and take care of himself. And he was doing that anyway. And so I just hope he has his mind right. Your mental health is huge. That's a big thing as of a couple years ago. Your mental health was a change of perspective. Like, you don't have to feel ashamed because you're struggling. And that's great, because people struggle all the time. And they were made to feel bad because they were like, oh, you can't handle it. And Diana says, wait till you hit my age. Everything is slow moving. And that's okay, right? As long as we're not stopping. We can take rest breaks. We can keep going. And go shopping and do that stuff. And maybe you can't do 15 things in a day anymore. But we can still do the things. Just break it up. Energy conservation is a big technique that we learn in PT school. To conserve our energy. So I was writing my book series this morning a little bit, and I don't want to give anything away, but some pretty big stuff happens in the first 8 chapters into the 9th chapter that I started writing, and I'm like, hopefully you take, for the people who read the book series, but people who read the book series, hopefully you're taking away that, like, family means things. Friends mean things. They mean a lot to the main character. And it's called Fight for Us for a reason. Like, the main character, Ryan, will not stop fighting to protect himself, his loved ones, his friends, his family. And, it's a thing that you can't give up on stuff there, too. And the people that would do anything for you, you want to reciprocate that. And that's what it's all about, relationships, people, building blocks, being there for each other. And that's why it was always great in The Walking Dead when they did that early on. You felt like Rick, even Shane at some points, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Glenn, Dale. It was just so important to be that part. And then when it started to go off and this, and then forcing things with Maggie and Negan and then Daryl, and it was like so forced. Everything was kind of forced. Forcing relationships. And it would be kind of cool if you did a what if to see, like, what if Andrea never died? What if Sophia never died? Like, what would happen with these characters? And that would be kind of cool to see. And I think they could do it, like animation. And I like the what if stuff from Disney. And I like the animation. I'm an animation person like that too. Like, I love the X-Men stuff, and I love that. And I think it's pretty cool. Fan Deluxe says, hey, Brian, I'm from overseas. Is everything back to normal in California? As far as I know, no. California is on fire, basically, and it's sad because it's not. I'm in Florida, by the way, too, so I'm not in California, but Florida's okay. We're doing all right. It's a little cold right now, but we're doing okay. But California is not okay. Like, I don't know how people can make it in California, because of so much things you have to worry about. You have to worry about fires, like, pretty much all the time. Earthquakes, hurricanes, taxes, just craziness there too. The cost of living, price of gas, it's just terrible. That's why more and more people are leaving and moving to Texas or Nevada or whatever on there. And it's just a lot. Hopefully they'll get the fires under control, and they'll get some, because I think it was pretty dry and it was there too. But it's a problem. And, like, it's a problem I don't know if everything's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. They have to do something to stop it from happening. And if they have to basically saturate everything better or police things better or whatever, like, it's kind of crazy that you don't hear about the fires really anywhere but the Northwest. The Pacific Northwest. And that's good that it's not, countrywide, but it's a problem. Like, yeah, and they talk about, Ben Affleck's home and so-and-so's home and so-and-so's this. Like, yeah, that sucks. Then that's probably their third home. But other people that don't have that luck, like you lose all your stuff, everything gets burned down, and it's been time and 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 time again. And you're like, come on, do something about it. Like something has to be there too, and you have to have smart people there to handle it, right? You have a bunch of great university things going around there too. USC, UCLA, Berkeley, Cal, Pepperdine, this, that. A bunch of great minds that can't figure out a way to stop, lessen, mitigate, whatever, the wildfires. Like there has to be a better way than loading up an airplane and just flying over and just dropping the water from an elevated position. Like that could be used, of course, but it doesn't seem to be helping at all. And like, I just can't imagine that. I just can't imagine losing all my stuff because of fires. But I'm glad I never went out there because I'm originally from New Jersey and I wanted to go out to California for college. Like I wanted to go to UCLA, but my dad said no, that I wouldn't go there because I would never come home. And that was the point. The point was to go away, and if I wanted to come back, I could always come back. So I didn't. And again, everything happens for a reason. Probably changed my life, my trajectory. If I went to California instead of Florida, I never would have went to University of Tampa. Probably never would have went to Nova Southeastern or Fort Lauderdale. Probably still would have became a physical therapist, but who knows? I probably wouldn't have met my wife and probably never would have met any of these things and never wouldn't be here. Maybe not a YouTube channel, or maybe I would have moved back home, or maybe, who knows, right? But I never would have met the people that I met, especially at the times that I met them. But it's just one of those things where everything happens for a reason, you know? And again, it comes back to that. And I'm like, just trust the process. Enjoy the journey. Just go along with it. And it's okay to be sad, though, along the way. Like, it's okay to do all those things. Like, emotions are great. They are there for a reason. And we should just embrace them and whatever and just take it for what it is. But at the end of the day, we should want to help each other, help ourselves, be nice, kind, and helpful to ourselves, our people, our communities, whether it's at a store, at the gym, at work, at home, or whatever, you know? But it just feels like everybody's at odds with each other and trying to get their own stuff, and to make ends meet is I have to push you down to push me up. Like I have to push it. And it's a shame. And so I don't think it needs to be done that way. But that's how people see it sometimes too, you know. While the Fan Deluxe says, are the wildfires in the U.S. always this worse, or is it an unfortunate one? Well, it's a different time of year. I don't believe the wildfires happen at this time typically. It's usually in the summer when it's super dry, but it's still super dry in California. So I think they didn't get rain for, you know, I don't know. I think somebody told me, like a patient told me that they have 1/10 an inch of rain for like 2 months. So everything just dried out and then it's just there as well. But I don't know. Yeah, if we're not getting enough rain, then it's a problem. But we ought to be able to move water around. Like I was talking to my student who lives from Buffalo. And I'm like, you guys get so much snow, which I learned on the south side and not really the north side of Buffalo, where the stadium is where a lot of snow comes there. They get inches of inches and inches and inches of snow that just sits there and has to be moved and freeze and whatever. But you could like bottle it up, box it up, put it in a truck and move it, put it in a pipeline and move it to places that are needing water, like lakes in Arizona, Nevada, California, whatever. You know, you can move that water that's there too, and especially all across this, what's Colorado, all that extra snow, you'd have to do something with it. I mean, you don't have to, but it just makes sense to be able to put that there, and they could sell the stuff to California and be able to move it in a pipeline or whatever too. But I don't know. It's just something that makes too much sense in theory. I don't know if it actually is possible, but it's just something that I'm like, is that an option? I don't know. And so, like, you have to kind of be able to, you can sterilize it, make sure it's clean and good and pure, and then move it. Something has to be done because it's just not going to end up ending that way, too. And that's why I think the weather element of The Walking Dead was touched upon. But it's always good to see it, think about it, too, because you're like, yeah, the seasons, the weather, freezing. Walkers would freeze. And then you could just go around and just kill all the walkers. Just knock their heads off, and there you go. They're done. But the walkers, too many walkers being around just makes no sense. Too, like in Dead City, there's so many walkers in the, city, and it's New York City. It freezes. It's cold. Why don't we really do that, That's just crazy. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's just ideas, and like I said, hopefully that stuff already happens and where it is, so. So, I don't know. I enjoy watching different shows for escapism, to watch different things, and, like Silo. So, if you guys have watched Silo at all, it's on Apple Plus or Apple TV Plus or whatever. Season 2, it's still, going. It's wrapping up. It's going to be one more episode, I believe. And they add something new every episode. It's a nice new twist every episode. That's not like throwing it off too much, but it's enough that's like cool. And I've seen more pictures of the trailer for Last of Us Season 2. And I'm excited for that. I think they say the spring is when it's going to come out. So probably like March or April, I'm guessing, or May. But the big question, I don't want to give anything away because in the second game, something major happens that changes the dynamic of the story irreversibly. And a lot of people hate it. So a lot of people are wondering, is that going to happen in season 2 of the show? And like I said, I don't want to give it away what happens, but hopefully they change a little bit for season 2 of The Last of Us, because I'm probably sure they're going to do a third season, or maybe I wonder what they're going to do, right? Because there's only 2 games of The Last of Us. I don't know if you guys watched that show. If not, definitely check it out on HBO Max. Are they going to just basically recreate the show of the video game? And they can change some things, and you can go into more detail with stuff, and they kind of have to with stuff to kind of draw it out, stretch it out. But I don't know what the plan is to go for how many seasons. Are they going to go past the video games? Because they can get a couple more seasons out of the second game if they wanted to, and I think they will. And it was such a good success that I think they want to continue on with it. But we'll have to see. So we got that to look forward to. I don't know. I don't know what else is coming out. Like the last part of Cobra Kai. And some things are really good that just pop out of nowhere. Like I didn't know about. Like again, I've never read a book that was turned into a show or a movie. And not that I'm against it, I just haven't. I'm not a big book reader. I just rather watch a show, watch something for a half hour, 42 minutes, or an hour and a half, or I guess 2 hours for a movie, and then move on with it. Yeah, well, that's all right, Tim. I guess it's an acquired taste. I mean, I just know the video game of Last of Us, and it's a good job. They do a good job, especially with Ellie and Joel. And it's a little different. Again, it's a little different twist on there, too, which is always good. Yeah, Diana says, still people here in Florida aren't getting the help from the hurricanes. Yeah, I know. It's a mess. Like what I've learned, too, from living in Florida with hurricane aid and FEMA and permitting and all this stuff too, especially now with Helene and Milton, with the most recent hurricanes that impacted Tampa Bay and all of Florida. That if we're relying on the government, the counties, the cities, the states, whatever sort of funding and whatever, then we're in trouble, because it's all about cost cutting and not doing this. And, like, I don't know how people are living in their homes when they don't have power, they don't have electrical, they don't have anything like that too, right? And it's like, I don't know, like, how you could stay in your house if you don't have those things. But if you only have one residence, do you just go live in a hotel? Like, the Milton hit October 10th and 11th. So we'll just go 10th and 11th. That was 3 months ago. And if you don't have your house together, a residence, your house was wiped away, or you're not going back to it or whatever, like, I just don't know what you do. Like, it's just crazy. And that's just in Florida. Like, how is it in Georgia and North Carolina and wherever on there too? It's just crazy. So it's almost like you got to just take care of yourself and do on there as well. And I don't know. It's just tough, to not have help and to not have assistance. And some people can't even get permitting to get the stuff done, because you can't start anything there too. So, right. And hopefully you can, Hard Nicks. Hopefully you have family, friends, and places to stay. But then, like, the cost of rent, and then you still have to pay your mortgage or your rent from another place, because that doesn't stop, right? I highly doubt a mortgage company is like, yep, I don't care if your house is ruined, you still have to pay us. I mean, I would love to hear that's not the case, but I highly doubt it. So then you have to pay for this, and hopefully you can live with friends. Like, I know some patients took people in to have them stay on their sofa, stay in their spare bedroom, stay on their living room, But I don't know. It's just, that's why I'm extremely grateful and thankful for, where I'm at and being, how safe and secure we are in our house, and safe and not basically unaffected by it too. John Rad says, "What up, Brian? We're relying on the CRM." Yeah, I mean, I just wish they went into better detail about the CRM. It was like they teased it. They were going to talk more about it. Then they talked more about it from a certain angle. And then they wrapped it up with the Rick and Michonne show. And that was it. So I'm like, interesting. So, I don't know. It's like, let's just be grateful and thankful for what you got. And like I said, perception is reality. Right? Like, I've had some staff changes in at work. And you can tell when, like, an employee doesn't like their job or is over their job, overworking, like that. They're over it. Over it. I don't care. They give up. They're not putting the same effort in, and they're done, right? And so some people, especially recently from my job, they got fired. And it sucks. But it's like, if it's not warranted, that's one thing. But if things are adding up and stuff's there and you're basically not caring as much and not doing anything more too, you're just playing with fire. And now, imagine losing your job. Now you have no job. That's a whole other set of problems. That's a whole other set of, I hate my job, but I like the money. I like the income. That's why I'm always about saving my money, investing my money there too, because there's been times where I lost my job or cut my hours or whatever like that. And then what do? Do you have enough savings? Do you have enough food? Do you have enough everything? You have to cut back. You have to make sacrifices. And discretionary income has to be, put towards necessities. And that's okay. So just like I'm a big proponent of taking care of your money, protecting what you got, keeping what you got, and save it for a rainy day. Or put it in investments that you could take out if you needed to, or sell if you needed to, or whatever. Lock up some money long term, but have some liquid cash if you have to pay some stuff. And so, I think that's a good mindset, and hopefully you're okay with money. And if you're retired, hopefully you're going to get a bump with Social Security, because the Social Security Fairness Act was greenlit and put into play. And so we'll have to see what, I've had some patients tell me that they're finally going to get Social Security now because of that, which is always pretty good to help out people there. But myself being in my 40s, I'm acting like and thinking that Social Security will not be there for me. So I have to put money away, and if I have something there, great. If I don't, then I'm already set, because I didn't think I was going to have that anyway. But I'm relying on myself. I'm being self-reliant on my money, my budget, paying things off, and having it that I own it. So it's pretty awesome if you own your house, your car, whatever it is. I don't have any more payments. I'm good. I just have to worry about my monthly bills, my taxes, my car insurance, my house insurance, whatever else is, One step at a time, work your way up, create a plan, and there you go. Hardnick says CRM was like the unseen spouse on a television show. They build up all around it, but they can't make it work up to the build up. Yeah, and that's how The Walking Dead really was. All build up, anticipation, and then reveal. It's like the Wizard of Oz, the wizard behind the curtain. You're like, that's what it is? Like, some of the best build-up was the early years of The Walking Dead. Like, they were together, the CDC, the farm, the prison, the wolves, Alexandria, Negan, and then after that was like, Kingdom, I guess, a little bit. Hilltop, all this stuff, build up. Negan, reveal, terrible, set the tone for there. And like, if they made a couple little tweaks here and there, I think it would have been better. So, but like I said, I will always have love for the Walking Dead franchise as a whole. It changed things so much for me. I don't think I'm going to go back and watch all those seasons of The Walking Dead because it's a lot. I probably wouldn't mind watching certain episodes here and there. But it was always the anticipation of the next. But then it was when it was revealed, it was like, wah, wah, wah. And so the payoff, I don't know. Was the payoff ever good on The Walking Dead? Like, certain things were pretty good when, they saved the day and they did this. And they had their moments. But overall, was it kind of just a letdown? So, like, seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6, definitely 4, 5, and 6. Like, Terminus was such a huge buildup. They spent, like, 2 episodes there, and not even full episodes. And then they left, and then the termites went after them, and it was like this whole big thing. And the build-up was so huge for Terminus, and then it just was like, where's this going? Where's it going? Oh, yeah. But it was still good. I mean, but it was like one of those things like, oh, man. But it's all right. That's what happens. But The Walking Dead, like I said, it was still great. To me, it's not going to be up there. It's still a great show, but it's not going to be up there with Breaking Bad, Sopranos. Like, there's certain shows that were like, And even if Game of Thrones was just a better ending, because that was so terrible. That was another one where you're building it up, building it up, building it up, building it up. Daenerys and her dragons and her this and her that and her army, and then they finally get there, and then they don't know what to do with them. And then it's just the White Walkers and the Night King and all that stuff. It's just like, this is it? Terrible. There was no huge battle. There was no huge battle with Jon Snow. And it's just like, yep, that's done. That's kind of a good point. Jeannie says the governor's return and destroying the prison was the only time the buildup was ever met the reveal. And that was like so kind of quick too. Like the governor left, went away, came back, had the backstory, found out what happened to him, captured Michonne and Herschel, killed Herschel, ruined the prison, and they were forced to leave. Kind of happened pretty. It was enough for the build up and actual happen there too. And it's a terrible moment because they should have stayed at the prison for a long time, but it's a moment that has to happen because they have to eventually go to Alexandria. And I kind of wish they were still making the comics today. I think the comics going on would have still helped the Walking Dead universe as a whole. But it's like the Walking Dead comic being done. I wonder if that'll ever come back. You know, people always say, like, will the Walking Dead come back with the next generation? But I guess not, right? I guess the Walking Dead comic was its own world thing because the way it ended with the time jump with Carl and Sophia. And so, like, that's kind of had its ending in Alexandria. And I wish they kind of didn't do that because it would have been left it open for a little bit more too. So, but overall, it is what it is, and we have to move on from it. But it's just kind of something that when you're in that universe, when you're in there, you just never want it to end. You know? It just would have been like, it would have been great. It would have been great to have like a little bit longer with things and a little more explanation with it. But it's a fine line of how much explanation do you give, how fast, how short, how this, how that. And so it's just, yeah. But it's, like I said, I value the time when The Walking Dead was in its heyday, especially here on YouTube. It was great. Making videos all the time, getting the spoilers all the time, being excited for the production, the filming, the actual episodes, the breakdown, the after show. Like that was really only probably the only time I really ever watched an after show of a show. Like I never watched the Game of Thrones stuff and this show and another two and whatever, but watching the after show with Chris Hardwick and whatever, and to see what people were there and the interview, like it was just so amazing. Like it was such a crazy time of television for us, and I don't know if that is ever going to happen again. Like never say never, but it's definitely something too. So sorry, my wife said she's grocery shopping right now, and she just sent me a picture of pictures of these people that are definitely retired, probably snowbirds. And there's like 5 of them, and they're blocking the aisle time and time and time again as they go down the aisle. And you're like, no care about other people, and I'm here for vacation. I'm only here for a couple months. I don't care. I'm going to come down here, and that's it. See you later. Cater to me, and I'm gone. Sure. Great. It's just the quintessential, like, I live in retirement or vacation areas that are like, but I live here, so I'm not on vacation all the time. So it's just kind of annoying too. Deadly Tagoro 82 says, Walking Dead just became Who Gonna Die Next show. Well, yeah, that was part of it because you were invested in the cast and the people. And then also then they were killing people off all the time, and then they killed nobody off. There was what's it going to be? And I still would have loved for them to keep Shane and Andrea and have them leave and then come back, and that could have opened up the show in a whole different world. But that could be on the What If show. Would be pretty amazing. But all right, guys, that's my time. That's my hour. It goes quick when you're having fun. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well and staying warm. I'll be back next Sunday to talk about other shows, movies, stuff that we're watching, maybe a little football, what's going on there too. And remember, guys, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember to keep working hard no matter what you're doing. You can do it no matter what it is with just hard work, just preparation, inspiration, motivation. You can do it. It's going to take time, but you can do it no matter what it is. And remember, guys, I'll be back next Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday if you're watching football or any other shows or movies. I'll be back